Hey, my name is Maggie Patterson, and I'm going to be doing a basic first aid um, demonstration. So here we have Cookie. Cookie, yeah. Okay, we have Cookie, and she has a fracture. So she's just gonna, if you'll just hold her still, we'll pretend like she is laying down. I have to do it. Okay, so she is laying down, and her front right leg is what is hurting. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to apply the muzzle so that nobody gets bit. I'm just going to slowly approach her and apply her muzzle here. And then what we would do next is lay this blanket out. Be careful not to hurt her injured leg. We would just place her on the stretcher. And then we would pick the stretcher up, both sides, and carry her and place her on somewhere like the table. So now we want to make sure she doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just gonna ask my partner here to make sure she doesn't go anywhere while I grab the supplies that we need to just splint her leg, just so there's not any more injury to it until we're able to get a radiograph. So I have chose the plastic spoon splint here. That way when we take the radiograph, it will not be in the way of the radiograph like a metal one would. So we're not doing this to correct anything. We just want to put it on her just so we can get her into the x-ray room without harming anything. I don't think I'm done. So I just want to wrap this around just to keep that leg stable. Okay, so that one is how you do the fracture. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this off because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so the next one is going to be bleeding. So I'm gonna put her on the floor. She comes in and she is bleeding. So the first thing that we're gonna do is me and my assistant here are going to put our gloves on because we don't know whose blood it is, if it's hers or the dog's or another dog's or another person's. And we don't want any blood on us, so we're gonna put our gloves on here. And her wound is her right front leg again, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and apply the muzzle. And then I'm gonna grab my gauze. And to just slowly approach her and go ahead and apply the muzzle, not because she's mean, but just so we don't end up getting bit. Okay, so now that we see the bleeding, we're just going to hold the pressure on. And at this point I could move her to the table, but for this demonstration I will just sit here. And then we would want to apply the pressure here until it's gone, and I could check that every 3 minutes if I need to. Worst case scenario, I could apply a tourniquet around her leg right here. That is a last resort. That way there's no blood going down there for her to bleed out. Now, when you put the tourniquet on, you would want to release that every 15 to 20 minutes for 15 seconds, just so blood flow is getting down there to her limb. So that is what you do in a bleeding situation when they come in and they're bleeding. Now on the chemical burns, we would want to apply our gloves. There we go. And then we would want to muzzle her. So again, I'll just approach her slowly, apply the muzzle, and then I would get her, say if it's her front left leg, or I'll say her rear left leg, I would take her to the sink, and I would turn the water on, and I would run the water over her leg and flush that just to get any chemicals on her leg that may still be on there, and let that run for 15 to 20 minutes or until the doctor tells me otherwise. Now, if it were more of a severe burn, then we wouldn't want to put water directly on it. We could do a cold pack or a cold water pack and apply it until, you know, the doctor gave us further instructions with that. You would do the same thing. You put your gloves on, apply the muzzle because it can be painful, and then again not put the water directly on it. So our next one that we're going to do is going to be choking. So if she came in and she was choking, first of all, what I'd want to do is I'd want to check her gums. So check her gums. And they are not the normal pink, they are a pale color. So I would want to open her mouth. I'll let she'll let me. Open her mouth and make sure and dislodge anything that would be in her throat. But there's nothing in her throat. So what I would want to do is a Heimlich maneuver. And I would just take my palm and place it on her abdomen here. And then I would just squeeze up. And we want to create enough air that it's going to dislodge anything in her throat. Now you can also do it with her laying on her side. Put your one palm under her last rib and just press 4 times. And then repeat that until you get whatever is lodged, again, dislodged. Okay, then we have a heat stroke. Okay, so with a heat stroke, what I would want to do is I would want to take my thermometer and I would want to check her temperature. Okay, so I check her temperature and it says 105. So I know her temperature is high at this point. So we would want to get a wet towel and wrap it around her neck. We don't want to get it in her eyes or near her muzzle, and we're just wrapping this wet towel. And it's clear that she is in distress. She is really hot, her temperature is high. And we just want to keep doing that. And after 10 minutes, you could re-wet your towel and apply it again. If her temperature is still not going down, you can put her in the tub and run some cool water over her to bring it down. You can also put alcohol on the palms of their feet or even their abdomens. Sometimes that will bring down the temperature as well. So turn it a little bit. Still just do the wet towel until her temperature comes down to 103.5. And at 103.5, then we would take her out of the water. We would quit doing the cold compress. And then the doctor would come in, at some point and tell us when to start fluid therapy, and we would go ahead and do that. So the next thing that we are going to cover is shock. If she comes in and we suspect that she is in shock, the first thing that we're going to want to do is check her mucous membranes. We check her mucous membranes, and they're not normal. So then we just do a CRT. We're going to press on her gum. Anything under 2 is normal. Her return rate is 4 seconds. So at 4 seconds, we know that that is not normal. So what we want to do is we want to check her femoral pulse here. And we can tell that her pulse is weak. So we will go ahead and grab our stethoscope and go ahead and auscultate her heart and her lungs while feeling her femoral pulse. While I'm doing this, I will go ahead and get her heart rate and her respiration rate. And then we will keep, one thing that you can do is you can go ahead and, if the doctor says to, go ahead and put an IV in, hook them up on fluids. We could monitor our temperature, and just monitoring is the big key factor in this, and do everything that the doctor tells you to do and everything that you know to do, and you can record the temperatures and how much fluid she's getting and when she got it, and just monitor her progress from there. Now, the last thing is poisoning. So, if the owner calls and they say that their dog has been poisoned, say one calls, we had one yesterday that called and said that their grandbaby had been giving their dogs raisins. So we asked them how old the dog is, what breed it is, how big it is, and so I got all that information. It was a Yorkie. It was about 7 pounds, and it was 6 years old. So we asked the amount that that the dog could have gotten. They said no more than 5 or 6 raisins. So I talked to my doctor, and he told me to tell them to induce vomiting with hydrogen peroxide, about 5 milliliters, and see if they can't get that to come back up. And if that didn't work, wait about 15-20 more minutes and try it again. And if at that point it still didn't work, to bring them in and we could do some chemistry on them to see if it's gonna play any part in their kidney enzymes. And the last one that we have is seizures. So if one comes in, or it's at home or wherever it may be, and it's having seizures, you want to avoid the mouth, because when they're seasoned, they could be biting. So you would want to, they'll be laying down, and you'll want to prop their head on a towel or something so they're not hitting their head. We'd also turn the lights down low, and we'd have everybody, talk quietly until the doctor could get some Valium or phenobarbital or whatever they want to give them to bring them out of the seizure. And we would also want to time the seizure, see how long or what type of activity is going on, if it's the whole body shaking or if it's just facial constriction or anything like that, and also keep an eye on the pupils. So that is the basic first aid for the emergency and first aid class.